So today I want to be sharing how I was able to wear multiple hats at Microsoft and how I was able to navigate that, and why I think you should also do the same thing regardless of the field or regardless of where you find yourself. I believe the world is shifting to a phase where being more proactive is going to save you a whole lot of time. It's going to open doors for you. It's going to help you land those opportunities that you want to land. Hi, my name is Winner, and on this channel, I talk about my experiences, I talk about my journey, I talk about tech, I talk about how you can succeed in tech, and I also share a lot of tips. You know the saying, master of jack of all trade, master of none. But I like to, change that phrase into something I prefer to call myself, jack of all trade, master of all. So why this is important, especially at this age, this era that we are now, this 2025 and going forward, being proactive is really what will differentiate you from a lot of people. Proactive in terms of technology adoption, proactive in terms of job seeking, proactive in terms of outreach, proactive in terms of whatever it is in your life, or even as a business owner, proactive in terms of understanding what your customer needs, or proactive in terms of reaching out, landing those campaigns and all. So, but what I want to share here at Microsoft, I was a data scientist before I joined Microsoft, and when I joined Microsoft, the first time I got opportunity to work at Microsoft was as an intern. I didn't even know what the role was, but I saw the opportunity and I was like, what do I have to lose? I talked about how I got into Microsoft and my whole internship experience. If you want to, learn about that, feel free to just go through my channel. You'll see the video. Yeah. So it was after the interview and everything that I even got to know the title of the role I would be doing, which is a customer success account manager. So imagine transitioning from a data scientist to a customer success account manager. But why didn't I stop? Why did I take the job? Why did I not quit or anything? For me, it was an opportunity. So 4 things you need to really consider if you want to be able to wear those multiple hats, just as I did while at Microsoft and also outside of Microsoft, because this will help you navigate a lot of storms, and especially in these big techs, a lot of changes happen. If not every 6 months, even every year, compulsory every year. There is always a blueprint change, or reorg and all. So you should be able to readjust. You should be able to quickly move into different roles, do different things at the same time. So I joined as a customer success account manager. Did that for 6 months, but there was no opportunity for me to, transition into full-time employment. So I had to leave, and but as I said in my internship video, there was a lot that I did in terms of, leveraging that 10 principle guide that I shared on my channel earlier on to build those connections, create those impacts within Microsoft that I left. Remember, I was a data scientist before I joined. Did customer success account management for 6 months, but when I left, I went back and joined Tech for Them as a data scientist. So now you see, the knowledge and experience I have as a data scientist is not actually a waste. So, and if you agree with me, there is also this saying that no knowledge is a waste, right? So I was able to go back as a data scientist. I joined Tech for Dev. So I was able to do this because I actually mastered the skill before I transitioned to another one. So I believe why people say use that phrase a lot, jack of all trades, master of none, is because people don't stay within the first trade, master it before moving to the next trade. Because if you stay in one trade, master it before you then move to the next trade, then it will no longer become jack of all trade, master of none, but rather it will become jack of all trade, master of all, because you've mastered it. And mastering it means you keep yourself relevant within the role, even though you've transitioned to another one. So it means you are reading articles about what is happening in the industry, you are reading articles about what's happening in that field, you're updating your skills, you're pushing out projects, still while you are doing another thing as a day-to-day job. So that was my own case. That was what I did. I was still engaging, even though I was working as a customer success account manager at Microsoft, I was still engaging the community as a data scientist. I still have people I was mentoring, I was pushing out projects, and I was, engaging actively within the data science community. And after 6 months, I got a call back from my recruiter, who then asked me, told me, there was an opportunity to join Microsoft now as a full-time employee, as a technical specialist. I was like, yeah, of course, sure. And this was the day I was writing my last paper at the university. So, and because, and there is this policy in Microsoft that if you left the company and it has not been more than 6 months, you won't have to go through the culture fit interview and recruiter interview and all. So you kind of skip like 2 levels interview and just go to the main interviews, which was like 2 to 3 interview, instead of having that long normal Microsoft 5 to 6 stage interviews. So I did the interview. Now remember, data scientist, customer success account manager, now is technical specialist. But something happened. So after my interview, when the offer was coming for that role, when I was having that conversation, when I was having the conversation with my recruiter on that particular role, he then mentioned that the role has changed. There is no longer a technical specialist role. They've changed it to a solution area specialist, right? So I'm going to do another video where I talk about what these roles do in all these big techs. So because there's a lot of people that believe tech is all about software engineering, project management and all. There are a lot of other roles in, especially all these big techs. The likes of Google, AWS, Microsoft, Oracle, HP, Dell, all of them. There are a lot of technical roles that is outside of software engineering and UI UX, or the normal tech roles that we all know. So I'm going to do a video to detail what, because I did quite a few. So I'm going to do a detailed video on what they do and the skills that you need to succeed in those roles and how to land those opportunities. So back to the topic. So they changed the role to a solution area specialist, and my recruiter was like, it's almost the same thing, blah 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 blah. I said okay, no problem. So I accepted the offer. I joined Microsoft. I did that role for like 1 year, and after 1 year, there was a reorganization that happened, and what I was also doing while I was on that role was to, upskill. I was still keeping in touch with my data scientist stuff. I was leveraging the knowledge and experience I've acquired as a customer success account manager, and I was using it on this new role that I got. And it really helped me. This was where I saw practically the importance of having knowledge, the importance of having experience, because as I said earlier, there is no knowledge that is actually a waste. It might not be useful for you at the moment, but trust me, down the line, you will definitely find use for those knowledge and experience that you've acquired along the way. So I leverage and build. What I'm trying to say here is break the norm. Don't be traditional. try different things. If you've mastered a particular skill, probably is a signal for you to try different things. And especially now that this AI era, things are really moving very fast. This is the time to be very proactive about yourself, proactive about your career, proactive about your tech journey. This is the time for you to leave your comfort zone and try different things. I know a lot of people might not agree with me in terms of mastering different things, but this is something that have worked for me a lot. The skills that I've acquired in the past, most of the time, anytime I'm trying to transition to a new role or a new field, this has been the things that qualifies me for that particular journey I'm about to begin. A typical example is the current role that I'm doing now, right? What helped me in terms of moving into it was because I had software engineering background, I had data science background, I also had Microsoft experience in terms of Microsoft technologies, in terms of sales and all. These compounded to give me the qualifications that I needed to be able to transition into this my current role. So yeah, if you feel like you've mastered your current role, trust me, it's the time for you to try different things. Maybe you are doing front end engineering and you are like a pro in it now. It's time for you to move to back end and try back end, right? And if you're currently back end and you're a pro now, time for you to try front end engineering. And if you've mastered both, maybe it's time for you to try data science. So try new thing. It's fun, is challenging, and we should be trying things that challenge us every day. So thank you for build my portfolio and build my new experience within that particular new role, leveraging on the past experiences that I've had, leveraging on the capabilities that I've also built in the past. And I was also still keeping in touch with the data science community, keeping in touch with the CSAM community to make sure that I also keep understanding what is happening within that space, keep understanding what is changing and what is not changing. And after 1 year, there was a reorg. I moved to now a technical specialist role, the initial role that I was supposed to get. And these two roles were actually different. The solution area specialist role was more let's say 90% customer facing, more sales, and also like 95% sales, or you can say tech sales, but let's just call it sales, right? Fully sales. And I have never done sales in my entire life. As a customer success account manager, there was a bit of sales in it, but not maybe like 20-30% sales in it, but more is around managing customer relationship. Let me not go deep into what those roles are, but yeah, you get the point. So I now moved to a technical specialist role, which is more technical, with there is also still sales in it. Every organization or every role in Microsoft has a bit of sales in it, because for you to succeed as an organization, you need to sell. So if you ship software, nobody is using it. So Microsoft has a way of making every role has a bit of responsibility when it comes to managing sales pipeline or creating sales pipeline. But the role was more technical. I would say 80% technical, maybe 20% sales. So which made it totally different from the role I was doing initially. And this was just after 1 year. So I took the role, I accepted the offer, now new contract based on the role. I accepted it and I started. And that was a technical specialist for Microsoft Word, compliance and data security, which was again different from what I was doing 2-3 years ago. Data scientist, customer success account manager, now what, a technical specialist for compliance and data security. And you know what, again, I still was able to excel on that role, because what I did was, when I found out that I was going to move to a different role, I quickly started, I quickly started identifying gaps that I have in terms of knowledge and experience to be able to succeed on that role. And I knew that one of the gaps that I had was technical certification for that particular role, and I jumped on it. I studied back to back, day, night, and after a few weeks, I think like 2-3 weeks, I wrote the certification exam and I passed it. So immediately I started onboarding, or the day I onboarded into the role, I was already with my certification. I've already gone through the documentation for that particular product. So I understood the role end to end. I understood my responsibility. I understood what I'm supposed to contribute. Now, all this knowledge, I am actually doing what? Accumulating it. And remember, the first role, I have already mastered it. The second role, I mastered it did it for 6 months. I would say I mastered it because I understood the end to end of the role. And then now I transitioned into solution area specialist. Did it for 1 year. If you would agree with me, if you dedicate your entire life to something for 1 full year, there is no how you won't master it, right? So I also kind of mastered that, even though I was not fully enjoying the role. But then it is what it is. I then moved to a more technical role, which is now technical specialist. Did that for 1 year. Then the scope of the role changed a bit. Now, it didn't change in terms of my responsibilities, everything changed. No, what changed was in terms of coverage, in terms of solution that I'll be covering as a technical specialist. That kind of changed because Microsoft now did a consolidation of their platform, where data security was coming together, data discovery and data governance was coming together into one platform. Data stewardship was also coming in. So everything around data governance, data security, data management, metadata management was coming on that one platform, which means I will be responsible for all of it. So I needed to still upskill. Then after that was now 2 years. After that, I then became I transitioned again to another role, a technical specialist for Microsoft Copilot, which is Microsoft Gen AI version. So what I'm trying to say here is, for you to be able to wear multiple hats within any organization that you are, right? The first thing is intentionality. You need to be intentional about yourself, about your journey, about your capability. Don't lie to yourself. You need to be very, very intentional. So I'm someone that has tried quite a whole lot of things. I started my career as a software engineer for front end, quickly transitioned to back end, then transitioned to data science, then I transitioned to customer success account manager, transition to solution area specialist, transition to technical specialist for data security, cyber security, if you should, just summarize it. Then transition to technical specialist for Microsoft Copilot. Now I'm a AI engineer. So all this knowledge for me is really not a waste, and for each of the level in my career, for each of the growth I'm experiencing, they are all an output of the compound interest of the experiences and the knowledge I have acquired previously. So a typical example is, I was able to transition to a technical specialist because my background, I'm technical, which is because I was a software engineer, I was a data scientist, and I knew sales because I was a solution area specialist. So it made it easy for me to be able to transition into a technical specialist. I had sales background, I have technical background. I was also able to transition back to data science after I did my internship with Microsoft, because I had data science background, I had software engineering background. I was able to transition to Copilot because I had data science background, I had sales background, I had technical specialist background. I was able to transition now to a data scientist, to a data AI engineer, because I have all these backgrounds. So you need to be intentional about what you can do, what experiences that you've had. It's not about doing a tutorial, going through a tutorial, a learning path, and then you be like, okay, I know this stuff, right? It's about you being intentional in terms of telling yourself the truth. If you've mastered it, you will know. So you need to be intentional about that. The second one is you need to make sure that you are mastering each individual skill before you transition to another one. So why people will say you are jack of all trades, master of none, is because you are not mastering the trades that you are going through, or the trade that you are learning or practicing or whatever. So what I did was to make sure that I kind of mastered each one of those trades before I transition to, or I become comfortable to transition to a different role. Because when you don't master each of those trades, it becomes difficult for you to even succeed in the next trade that you'll be moving into. So the key thing here is mastery. For whatever place you find yourself, try to master that role, master that trade, try to master that skill before you do a transition to. So a lot of people currently now might be learning, you are in that learning phase, or you've learned a lot and you've been doing projects and you've been trying to land your first gig, land your first work, and it's been like 1 year, 2 years, and still nothing is happening. Right? Do a self-reflection. Go through my channel. There is a video that I did on how to know if you are doing well, or how to succeed. How to succeed in tech. So if you are doing, and also the 10 practical guide. So go through it, use it to evaluate yourself and know if you are doing everything right. And if you are doing everything right, and you have your project, and you can beat your chest and say, yes, I think I've mastered a skill, then I think it's time for you to do what? Move outside your comfort zone and try something different. And another thing I also want, most of the time that I've influenced my move or my transitioning, is actually opportunity. I don't wake up and say, oh no, I've tried data science for a long time now, I think let me just move. There is a clear opportunity I'm seeing, either based on trend or either based on what a demand is. Let's tell ourselves the truth. For me, I think even up to now, maybe in the nearest future, I might have different drivers, I might have different motivation, because that is another thing. Is your motivation. Mine was money, right? Sticking through and watching this video. See you on the next one. Peace.